In continuation to support advice for teachers, today I'm going to talk about practical advice for teachers. What the teachers can do, what actions, what strategies they can use in the classroom teaching, which they are naturally doing, which is very easy and practical for them. This is related to the challenges faced by the cochlear implant recipients. We had discussed that transition from pre from the earlier primary school teaching to higher school teaching is daunting and very jarring for these children, for every teenager, but more so for the children with cochlear implant. So, related to that, what can the teacher do so that these children take less time to adjust and can be empowered to learn like other children who have typical hearing? So, the first challenge we talked about was faced by these children is listening. They have some limitations in listening, like they cannot hear properly from a very long distance. They might have some problems or issues or some difficulty, just difficulty in understanding if the speaker is sitting or standing beyond 2 meters, or if there is a background noise, then the teacher's voice is less loud, is lower than the noise. The children find it difficult to understand what the teacher is saying. So what can the teacher do in this respect is to help them to listen better is seating arrangement. So the teacher has to allocate the seating to all the students. So the teacher should allocate a seat to the cochlear implant recipient, which is providing the maximum auditory input and maximum visual input. Where the child is sitting is not very far away from the teacher. Where the child is sitting can see the blackboard very clearly. Where the child is sitting can hear the sound and the speech sound of the teacher, and there is very little or no noise in the background. Another thing the teacher can do is create a buddy to follow the buddy system. So the teacher has to select a child from the class who will sit next to the cochlear implant recipient. Now the recipient is not going to disturb the child during the class when your lecture is going on, but the teacher can allow him to share the notes after the lecture to check if this child has missed something or has incorrect information or has incomplete information, where the child can take help from his buddy. It helps the child to check with the buddy if he has missed some important assignment or important announcement. Another thing is instructions. When the teacher gives instructions, what can the teacher do? What strategies can be used? Again, when you're giving instructions to the children, then the child should be able to understand the instructions fully, but may not. So if the parent makes another child repeat the instruction given, that will help not only the cochlear recipient, but other children also in the class. So after you give the instruction, tell some child to repeat what did the teacher say. Another thing you can do about the instructions is that if this is a very important instruction or message, you can write on the board, but it is recommended that teacher writes or some child can be assigned to write on the board in one sentence what the instruction is. Another is in the area of communication. By communication, it means what what precautions can the teacher take which can help the children to understand better in communication. So when teacher is talking to the class, the teacher should tell the children to raise their hand if they have any question. Now, when the teacher wants to point out to a child to ask the question, rather than pointing to the child, the teacher should take the name of the child and pause a little bit. For example, the teacher can say, Manisha, ask your question. Now, when the teacher says Manisha, the cochlear implant recipient looks around where is Manisha sitting. He or she finds Manisha, looks at Manisha, and when Manisha asks the question, it is easy for the recipient to get what the Manisha is saying. When the teacher is talking in the class, it's also recommended that the teacher stands at one point and doesn't talk while walking around, taking a walk or shifting, because then it becomes difficult for the recipient to get proper signal and understand what the teacher is saying. It's also recommended that the teacher should not talk with the back towards the class when teacher is writing on the board. The teacher should face the class, stand at one point, say whatever she wants to or he wants to say, and then turn to the blackboard or whiteboard to write it. This can help the children to listen and understand better what they are saying. Then again, another thing can be done. You know what? When you can assign one child, I mean, there can be a monitor of the child. No, there always is a monitor. The teacher can give the assignment to the monitor that during the break, the monitor writes the summary of the lecture on the blackboard or whiteboard, just with bullet points, 3-4 sentences, not all the details. The important points, the salient features, if they are written there, then there will be visual information for not only for cochlear implant recipients, but for every child in the class. It will help them to revise what they have learned. Also, when you are doing that communication, you see that whatever you're saying, the vocabulary, the important vocabulary is highlighted when the teacher is talking. Another thing is about acoustics. So when you're talking about acoustics of the room, what can the teacher do again? The teacher should be able to cover the flooring, cover the walls, cover the windows, which can absorb the sound, absorb the noise, and the children can hear better. For example, on the floor, you can put some mats, cotton mats, washable mats, or jute mats, which are spread on the floor of tiles or cemented, then the hard surface is reduced. On the table, where we put things and it makes noise, you can put a tablecloth. On the windows, you can have full-length curtains, cotton, washable, easy ones. I remember going to one school, hearing this special school where the children were integrated, and I saw there were different colored, different design curtains full from ceiling to the floor. And I said, from where did you buy these curtains? The teacher said, oh no, the parents have donated their saris, which are used as curtains. So you have to be innovative and think out of the box, and you will find very easy solutions. And there the tablecloth was the very pretty dupatta, which was again donated by a parent. If all this cannot be done, which I don't believe it cannot be, you can, if there is suppose there is a playground next to the classroom and there is a lot of noise coming, or there's a road and the traffic noise is coming, then the curtains will certainly help. Also, you can ask the management to get you double door windows on the windows, which can absorb the noise from outside and it does not filter into the inside the room. Take care that whatever is the source of the sound, especially a child with cochlear implant, should not be sitting next to that source. For example, a fan, table fan might be making noise, a projector might be making noise. I don't know, there can be anything which is making noise, which should not be there. Again, technology can help. In technology, what can the teacher do? Teacher can use a mic. If the class is too large, if there are 40 children, 30 children. So I'm sure the teacher is also speaking very loud and straining her own voice or his own voice, which is not good for the teacher. And if the teacher uses the mic, then everybody in the class will hear better, not only the cochlear implant recipients. Everybody will be benefiting, including the teacher. So try to get that. Try to get FM system in the class, which will help all the children, especially the children with the cochlear implant, to hear better. Also in the class, what you can do is that the child who has a cochlear implant or the sound processor, that child should be encouraged to use wireless accessories. So taking advantage of technology, encourage the child to use mini mic and give to the teacher and take it back, or use any wireless accessory the child has and can be used, will help the child. Allow the child to change batteries in the class if the child has to. So this way you can, as a teacher, support the child through technology so that the child can hear better. What else you can do is group discussions. In the field of group discussions, the child with cochlear implant might find it very difficult to participate in the group discussions because the group is very large. I assume you have 30 to 40 children in one class, and if you have group discussion, there'll be more noise. The children with cochlear implant will be exposed to difficulties in listening because all the children will not be within the close distance. Some children will be talking from a far distance. Also, there will be more noise. Sometimes the children will, 2 or 3 children will speak together, and one child will try to contradict the other child and argue that, and the child who is a cochlear implant recipient will feel out of it. So what can the teacher do? It's recommended that the teacher breaks the large group into smaller groups. Say if there are 40 children, then the teacher can have 4 groups of 10 each. Every group has a leader, and the topic is given to all groups, and they have discussions within the group parallelly. And after that, the child who's the leader of the group comes to the class and presents what they have learned, what is their opinion, what is their finding. And this way there will be only 4 presentations to the whole group, and the child who has cochlear implant will be able to hear better. Another recommendation is that if this group discussion activity is being taken in a hall or in another room, assembly room, or any meeting room, not in the classroom where we have desks, then there the chairs can be arranged in a semicircular area in a horseshoe type, where the children are sitting like in a semicircle stage, and the children can look at each other, hear each other better than if the children are sitting in desks, one behind the other, which is difficult because the children will be turning their head back and forth to hear the child. So that can also help in group discussions. Another one is encourage advocacy. So what the teacher can help is to encourage the children with cochlear implant to tell their needs, to open up with their needs, to have open discussion and request that what do they need, what support do they need. Because when we were talking about the support, we already discussed that these children downplay their hearing. They may not even tell you that they have not understood whole concept because either they lack confidence or they are shy and they don't come forward. So this way, if you encourage them, create an environment in the class such that these children have the confidence to say, Madam, please speak little loud. Sir, please speak it clearly. Sir, please stand at one place. Or tell the children, please tell the children to talk one at a time. Allow them to request to you the support they require, which will also help them. Another thing, not the last one, what you can do is have a one-to-one conversation with the recipient after the class sometime, where you check how much the recipient has learned, what questions the recipient has, which could not be answered, which the child may be asking you now. Give the opportunity to the child to ask the questions beyond the classroom situation. You can even have one-to-one meeting with the parent of the recipient and check what can be done to support, where do they need support, what can you do to help the child to learn better, to empower the child to learn, and what difficulties you are facing in the class with the child. You should discuss with the parent, share with the parents your concern. So parents may be able to tell what they can do, and parents will also join hands in helping the child to hear better in that. So this will help the child to be able to learn better and come at pass. Now just remember all this, you don't have to do it throughout the year. It's only in the beginning where you will be changing as a teacher, you will be changing your behavior a bit, and the children will get more confidence and understanding. Slowly, you as a teacher will get used to it and will not have to think about it so much. So, and at the same time, by the time the children will get adjusted to the new environment, new people, new policies, and then they will not require so much strategies which they require in the beginning. So if you follow all these points in the class, then maybe your children will be learning better, and you will be proud of the class that you could empower every child to learn, including the children who have cochlear implant also. Thank you very much. If you still have more questions or more areas where you need help as a teacher, please write in the comments, or the parents can write on behalf of the teacher what are the areas or where do they need help, and I will get back to you. Thank you.